order. Start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call, please.
Clark?
It's killing me. Here.
Fredericks?
Yes.
Height? Lindman?
Here.
Moretto?
Here.
Nedrow?
Here.
Schneider? Thorne? Weber?
Here.
I'll motion that we excuse Mr. Thorne, Mr. Snyder, and Mr. Height as they informed us that they were not going to be here.
I'll second. All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Next item is approval of the agenda.
And I don't think we have anything to add, so I'll motion that we approve the agenda as stated.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Nedrow, second by Moretto. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the agenda is approved as submitted.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes from January 27th.
I second.
All right. Discussion?
Wasn't here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved as submitted. Public hearing is the next item on the agenda.
And we have no public hearing.
There's no public.
Do we still open and close it, or?
No, it's just a public hearing, but we don't have any
Oh,
public
there's
hearing.
no public hearing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's the call to the public. I'm
Yep.
thinking of.
Yep.
And correspondence, we have none. The call to the public.
And we have no public, so we can just bypass the call.
No public.
They never go this fast.
We'll have to open and close if there's nobody here.
Okay.
Standard.
So, moving on. New business, there's none.
You're on record pace, Brian.
Yeah.
Tom should take note of how to run this thing. Pending business, we have item A, site plan review change for 1211 Glengarry, the Glengarry Inn. And we did have in our packet an update from Sally. I guess based on what the Glengarry Inn submitted to her. And one point to clarify, the setback on the woodland side is only 10 feet for the building itself, but the awning doesn't extend all the way to the side of the building. It's about 8 feet short of that, so.
They tucked it back to that little bump out.
Right.
Where the door is.
So,
Yeah.
so it's not as non-conforming as the rest of the building. It's still not within the 25 feet it's supposed to be.
And that's been there for an awful long time.
Right.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is the applicant in the audience?
Negative.
No, we have no public here today.
Yeah.
They can't present any additional information to you.
That's correct, and we haven't received their updated plan, so we don't know what they're proposing exactly at this point.
Okay, well, I won't interrupt.
Well, don't we need her to
So do we
go
table
through
this?
her, well, didn't you have a list of suggested items or something?
Yeah, you want to go,
Conditions.
I guess maybe Sally, maybe you could run through your review again.
Your recommendations and the conditions you were proposing?
Get a copy of that review letter?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm gonna, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna want to stay a little bit closer to your microphone too. You're dropping it a little bit in and out.
It was weird. It wasn't when she was close. It was just,
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry you have to look at such a big picture of me.
It's really small right now anyways.
Oh, good, okay, I'm happy to hear that. I totally appreciate the fact that you did not get this information, and since the applicant isn't at this meeting, you may decide to postpone any decision on this, waiting to, until you get this information and the applicant is in the audience so that they can answer your questions. But this is the drawing that was provided with materials that I received. And the yellow area is the existing building. This green area is an existing concrete patio this line is a roof line, so I think the roof for the existing building overhangs this area by that dimension. This white, kind of gray, square pattern is a proposed vinyl fence. I think it's about 4 feet tall or 3.5 feet tall. A small area of landscaping and then a concrete curb along here. Then the rest of this area is essentially gravel parking lot. So we looked at this material. The applicant also provided a list of responses to some of the questions in our review. And I don't have a copy of that, but I did reply to each one of those items in my most recent review dated February 15th. And the other thing I did was I spoke to the village engineer about this project, and I really felt like because the proposed seating area is right along Glengarry and that there's no curb between the travel lane on Glengarry and the gravel driveway on this site and the folks who are sitting out on this patio, I really didn't feel qualified to make an assessment as to whether or not what they're proposing here is sufficient to protect people who are sitting on that patio. I don't know what the curb is. I don't know if it's a poured-in-place curb. I don't know if it's just like a bumper block that's laid on top of the ground. There's no detail about what that curb is. And I felt that the village engineer would be better suited to make an assessment regarding whether this proposal is satisfactory to protect people on the patio from a wayward car off of Glengarry. So I spoke with him. He is perfectly willing to, work with the applicant on this particular design. And he can do it in one of two ways. One is if you do think you might postpone any decision on this particular site plan, we could ask the village engineer to look at it and provide you with an opinion memo at your next meeting. And then the other option you have, if you're comfortable with what you see here and kind of what I described tonight, you could condition your approval on the village engineer working with the applicant. I'll give you my 2 cents, and clearly the decision is yours. My 2 cents is, since the applicant did not come to this meeting, and since you have not looked at the materials that the applicant provided, the updated materials, it doesn't appear to me that the applicant's in a big hurry to get this done, and postponing it to the next month most likely is not going to be a detriment to the applicant. But I'm guessing, I'm just interpreting their non-appearance tonight in that vein. So, but I know I wasn't terribly comfortable making an opinion one way or the other, and I don't know if you will be either without getting the village engineer involved and getting his opinion about what to do with this site and as far as the public safety on this patio. The village engineer also is going to need to look at the plans regarding utilities, and one of those utilities is stormwater management. I don't know, given that this site is mostly gravel parking lot, I don't know where the stormwater goes or how it drains. The other issue is because stormwater management does need to be addressed, the village engineer may recommend that the area between the patio and the travel lane of Glengarry be landscaped. And that would address a variance that's required based on this plan, because there's not a 6-foot buffer and trees along Glengarry as required. And regardless of what the village engineer says or I say, that the applicant does need to get a setback variance for the awning it's too close to Woodlawn, and they're gonna have to get that. So any decision you make is gonna have to be conditioned upon them getting that variance. So, I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any questions. But at this point, I think it appears to me like we have a little more time to maybe get some more ducks in a row before you make a decision.
Right, well, the awning's already been installed, and they're still waiting to put up the fence around it, and then the landscaping, will probably be done in the spring, but, and then it's a matter of what they put up, if anything. Right now, they have just parking ties along the edge of the patio, but that's in the area where it's indicating they're gonna put in some landscaping.
They were gonna, as I recall from last meeting, they were supposed to be going to get a landscape drawing, right? That's what I remember.
Right.
And if they haven't submitted anything, I'm kind of on the same page as Sally, because I would have thought they would have been here tonight, or at least had some more information
From
submitted.
maybe from a landscape contractor, I don't know. There's no name on it or
Yeah,
anything.
it's
You know,
Jay
strikes
Starr.
who did it. This is
Right.
the heading.
With
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
So.
He did ours. And he did a full plan. I know he can do that.
I know I talked to them after the meeting, and they said that they were going to have a drawing made up, so.
Can I make one more comment? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
I thought a good comparison of this proposal was the Dairy Twist, when they put the outdoor seating area in front of their building. And when they put that, it's kind of like an awning type structure. And around their eating area, they have bollards in the pavement. And those bollards have 42-inch footings and would really keep a speeding car off of the eating area. So that's kind of what I was thinking in my mind as being appropriate and acceptable. If this project had proposed bollards, I think I probably would say, okay, it looks good to me. But with just the curve, I think the village engineer really needs to weigh in.
But they still have to, from what you said before, they still have to go before the zoning board to get a
Variance on the.
Variance on the side
awning
setback,
itself,
or
the
the
setback,
front
yeah.
setback, it's called.
And the front setback.
Yes.
Or it's the front
And
setback on Woodlawn.
Wasn't there like a requirement to do vegetation? Like
That's
we
what
did
she's,
with
that's what
the-
she's talking about, is the green
Yeah, the
belt.
6-foot
Oh.
buffer
Buffer.
landscape
But I
trees.
thought, didn't we have to do trees? Like
Yeah,
for
there's trees in there
there's trees
also.
there?
Every 30 feet, I think it was.
Okay.
Isn't the Woodlawn thing an existing condition?
For the building, but the fact that they're putting this awning on it, it's also,
Oh, they're putting an awning on that side too?
No.
no, but
No, but that's where the
the building's
setback-
10 feet, the awning will be about 18 feet from the setback, but it's supposed to be 25. So it's
Oh, I see.
adding to a
I see what
From
you're
the Woodland
saying.
side.
I
non-conforming
get it,
condition.
right, okay, now I understand.
Still have a
So I
little
did have a
lot.
couple questions. You said the green area is an existing patio?
Yeah, and that's where the,
And,
Awning
and
covers that entirely.
the whole the building's roof comes out to where the line is across that green thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is the rest of that green where they've put their awning?
yeah. Yeah, it completely covers the patio.
So
yeah.
how far is that from Glengarry? I mean, it looks really big and then really small, and I remember cars being able to park.
They still have room.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that brown area, well, maybe where the fence is a little bit, the brown area and the blue where they're talking about putting the,
Fence?
Bollards?
the side of the road,
Parking,
Oh, curb parking.
the curb,
Yeah.
that all that is the distance of one car?
It's
No.
tight.
So that the entire brown area is.
Glengarry, so.
No, I'm the top.
No,
The top is along Woodlawn?
go
No,
north.
that's Glengarry.
No, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and they're,
Yes, that whole area is parking.
it's showing they're 26 feet off of Glengarry.
I can see the, can you see it?
It shows they're here, they're 26 feet off of Glengarry.
So that where that fence is 26 feet.
Off of Glengarry, yeah.
So how big is that patio area? It's the same as it always was, right?
Yeah,
It is what it is, yeah.
The scale is a little. funny.
Yeah, I think the
Because
scale's a little
The
off.
awning, if you look at it, does not come out like
20 feet.
Right.
In your previous packet, they had a survey that shows where the building is,
Right.
and it was all dimensioned, and it clearly showed that, and you could tell the proposed location of the awning because of this little bump out on the existing building. So
Yeah.
if you measure from Woodlawn in this way, the 25-foot setback is about here.
Right, so they're about
So
18
there's
feet.
just this portion of the awning is in that setback
Off of Woodlawn.
Yeah,
from Woodlawn.
Well, I understand everything you're saying about the ballards and the curb, but I've been there a bunch of times. And if there's people sitting outside, it's because it's really full. And if it's really full, you don't need ballards in front of you because you got a whole line of cars in front of you that are going to block anything coming in. But I mean, I don't know, like you said, I don't know the legality of that or the, you know.
So Sally, how many, when you say ballards, how many are you talking about? You talking about one on each corner, or are you talking about a row?
Yeah,
of them?
car spacing, so the car couldn't fit through it. right?
You know, that was one thought I had, that bollards would definitely keep a car from entering this patio area. I think the village engineer is gonna have to weigh in on how many bollards, where they should go, how they should be spaced, all that kind of thing, if that's the direction he also goes. But he may be satisfied with something less than that. So I think we need to let him weigh in. I don't think, we should, at least at this point, I don't feel like I have enough information to make an assessment on any other alternatives until I hear what the village engineer says is necessary and appropriate.
And also what the
sounds right.
applicant's plans are for that area out there. They might not be parking cars out there.
Are they
might-
planning on parking cars? That's a good question, yeah.
Well, if
Well,
you
there's-
look at their
they're drawing
landscape
here.
plan, they have that landscape plan, and they were talking about possibly putting some landscape, that 6-foot buffer or something, maybe less out there in that area, so, and then parking bikes or go-karts or whatever out there. So, I guess I just feel that, we don't have really, if they would have been here tonight, they probably could have maybe helped clarify a lot of this information, but I guess we probably don't have enough information to go forward with a clear decision.
Well, I'm just wondering if, since they got what it seems like they want, the rest of it is stuff that we're asking for, how do we force them to come in and give us those answers?
You mean since they've already installed the awning?
Right, I mean, they wanted an awning over their patio, and I don't think they care about the fence or
Well,
if nothing else changed, they would have what they wanted.
Permit, so we could force removal of the awning.
Right.
Right, and the other thing is, Scott, by Liquor Control Commission, they have to have some sort of an enclosure around that.
Right.
So they can't move forward with, as far as their liquor license goes, if they don't have
to put
the fence
up.
around that
Yeah.
enclosure.
Okay.
And in the last meeting that I was at, I mean, they were very much in tune
Right.
Doing all of it.
on fixing it the way that it was, fixing the recommendations or applying the recommendations as suggested.
Well, I would think so too. I'm just surprised they're not here.
I am too.
That's all.
Yeah.
We're
And-
emailed.
Yeah,
Maybe
they might be out of town or something.
Maybe
I
they
don't
just
know.
don't have it ready.
Yeah.
So
So-
what do we do? Just table it till next
I
week?
would say postpone it until next meeting.
Postpone it, we don't even need to table it, really.
Right.
Just leave it active and hopefully they'll be
Yeah.
here next month.
Yeah.
Can
And
I
hope-
make a suggestion?
Sure.
I think you should make a motion to postpone the site, consideration of the site plan until the next meeting and ask the village engineer to review the proposal and offer his recommendations on the site plan.
Perfect.
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion by Frederick, second by Clark. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Right along.
That was easy.
So,
Oh, liaison.
So does it mean one of the three that aren't here automatically get appointed as liaison?
Park and
Yeah,
Rec.
you. Oh, the ones that aren't
The
here.
ones that aren't here.
Right.
Well, unless somebody here wants to stand up at this point, I mean,
What do we do if we don't have one ever?
I don't know.
What's the question?
What do you do if you can't get a park and rec
Yeah,
liaison?
Jen, until we appoint somebody.
Keep looking.
They can't even get anybody on park and rec anymore.
I know,
That's part of the problem.
yeah.
Definitely my problem.
Well, I guess we postpone appointment to Parks and Rec at this point too. I mean,
Yep.
Nobody's
I
volunteering.
do, but I don't have time already.
Yeah, I
kind of
can't
booked up a
commit.
little bit.
I prefer my freedom. And I'm talking about from jail because of what I would do if I was on park and rec.
All right, well, I guess, did we hear a motion to postpone the
Yeah,
appointment?
Paul's our water board
Right,
guy, so.
I'm zoning.
And you're zoning, so,
your council.
a little bit.
Something about master plan update. Was there
Well,
nothing?
we need to disposition this item, so do we want to?
So I move to table it to next meeting?
Sounds fair to me.
Leave it pending?
In the meantime, if somebody can get to the Parks and Rec meeting if they want to, and as a temp stand-in or something, but
Motion by Moretto, do we have a
Sure, I'll second it.
Second by Nedrow, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, table that one. All right, so that gets us to our old tabled business, our master plan update, and then schedule a public hearing if appropriate.
Is that Sally?
So we have Sally's letter from,
You need to untable it first, please.
oop,
Okay,
Yep.
can I have a motion to
so
untable
moved.
the
Second.
master plan update? Okay, we have a motion by Nedrow, second by Moretto. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. All right, yeah, I've been through the latest version, I think everything looks fine.
Just a couple minor things. First of all, since George is on the board now, we need to put him as part of the
board
planning
member.
commission as a board member.
Good point.
Made the front page.
Yeah.
Such a deal.
And then the only other thing I could find at this point, I went through it again a little bit, and Sally, we refer on page 5 to the smart bus service. And I talked to Tab this afternoon, and we are no longer with Smart. I don't even know if Smart even services the area around here a whole lot yet. But we are working with
People's Express.
People's Express with Commerce at this current time.
But there is just familiar with that side of it, unless something's changed this year, the village was still getting, and I wanted to say it was $17,000 for Smart, or towards Smart. So that stopped in 2022?
Stopped
Be-
in 2021.
It stopped in, okay, because that was the money.
Right, we were looking at going to WODA. Right.
Was looking at WODA.
Right.
But Commerce said, so of the monthly people using this, there's roughly 250 to 300 rides per month.
Right.
Of that, there's a large percent are Wolverine Lake. So it's roughly 50 out of 250
Okay.
from Wolverine Lake. And Commerce had said, rather than getting into the People's Express contract and making it too onerous on figuring out whose responsibility, it was just transfer to Commerce your smart funds,
Okay.
and we'll just cover the rest. Commerce would cover the rest. So, and maybe this is a question for Mike,
would
on
be.
if that's not coming, what's going to be the contribution from the village towards the People Express?
Right.
And what I see in the office, it could be that he gets that portion of the funds and just sends it to Commerce. I would never see that.
Okay, good.
So I
Yeah.
don't clearly know if that's the case.
I know we did talk about it, and because Commerce didn't go to WODA, we didn't feel that we wanted to go that route either, so we felt that we would move along with what Commerce did.
Yeah. And
Since we're part of Commerce anyway, so that was, we were looking at, we looked at possibly how many were rides, and we figured for the amount of money that we'd be able to pick that up, as I remember, Tab, during the council, so.
So what should the master plan say? Do you just want me to delete that paragraph?
That probably would be,
Or add a sentence, or?
Verify with the treasurer tomorrow and let Sally know.
yeah, we could do that.
The concept is the village provides a senior transportation service, or senior/disabled transportation service. So maybe it's just something that generic.
That would probably work.
yeah.
In conjunction with Commerce Township, the village provides senior/disabled persons transportation service.
Yeah,
Catch that, Sally?
okay, yeah, I like that.
I think that's
He's a
fair.
keeper,
Because
isn't he?
it could change again in another couple of years, and, I mean, Smart's been around forever, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of things changing, and we were talking about Ubering, paying for Ubering people, around, or they could pay for it, but I guess if that's where we're at, then that would probably be a fair statement.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's current, and that's what the way the current plan is, so if it changes down the road, we'll change it in 5 years again. Next update.
Okay,
So I guess that was the only clarification that I had.
Okay, then with that, what do we do? Send it to council?
So, well, with that, we gotta set up a public hearing, correct?
And I can make those changes for the
Concurrently.
public hearing draft.
Right. That sounds fine, then, at this point, I guess we'll motion to, set up for a public hearing for review.
Can we do it next month? Is
Next
that
month.
enough time?
Yeah, next meeting.
so it'll be March 24th.
Yeah, I can answer that question.
Yeah, 24th.
Yep, yeah, we need 2 weeks' notice, right in the spell
Right.
column.
Yep, so. That would be
Spell
appropriate.
column come out every week now.
And then at that point, we would get the input from what public has to say about, and bring it back to planning, and if we have any changes, if not, we can forward it at that point on the council for approval. Is that correct, Sally?
I do believe so. I need to confirm, I do think council has taken on the responsibility to adopt the master plan, but I'll just confirm it.
But that's after the public hearing.
Correct.
Yep.
Do we need a motion for a public hearing?
Yeah,
We did.
And you did?
I thought I did.
I second you.
Okay, we have a motion by Nedrow for public hearing on March 24th.
That was a long
for the
time ago.
Review of master plan. Second.
I'm sorry?
Second by Clark.
Clark.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that gets us to liaison reports.
Council, we
Council?
didn't have a whole lot going last month, but, so we had a one-year review for our administrator closed session, and we approved George being on planning, so thank you for stepping up. And, let's see, what else was there?
Sign.
Oh, we approved, Water Board was looking at new signs down by the launch site.
Yep.
So they had clarification and went through DNR approval on that, and that was approved, and essentially that was about it.
What did the village decide to do with the extra COVID money?
The Fed money that we received. So we had a goal-setting session last night, and we discussed village goals, what we were looking at moving forward with for next budget season, and also what we might be able to do with that money. So the way the federal funds are set up, we're getting a little over $500,000 from the state and the feds. And it's actually passed down through the county. So the village has until 2024 fiscal year to earmark how we want to spend that money. And then we have until 2026 to spend it. So if you look at that, it's a nice chunk of change, but there's a lot of things that we discussed last night that we could use the money for.
There's no limitation on what you use it for?
Not much. There's some limitation, but it opened up a lot more than what we thought we could have used it for previously. So we're looking at some paving, possible paving the park.
You guys will get into it on your next.
Yeah, we're going to get into it more in a budget session, but there was a number of things, some stuff for the village offices, police department, possibly some DPW issues, and
Can we get new chairs?
that was one thing that was brought up.
These are,
Yeah.
these are.
Yeah, I know. They've only been here for 30-some years, come on. But anyways, so we're looking at how to spend that money, and if there is, funds left over, we'll look next year too. So I don't think we want to spend it all in one full swoop, so. But yes, to answer your question, we are looking at how to do that, and with the budget, we'll zero in on how to do that and move forward, so.
Matching planning commission shirts?
Yeah.
Team uniform.
Have to come out of the planning budget. So essentially, that was where council was at last month.
All right, thanks, Brian. We don't have a Park and Rec liaison, ZBA.
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting in
Okay.
February.
That was short.
No cases.
All right, thank you. And Paul's not here for water management, so
Yay.
that moves us to announcements. Any announcements, anyone?
Maybe just one announcement. So Commerce is going down its master plan path, and it's just started it. And I think the only maybe key interaction with the village would be the pathway. So the township is looking to dramatically increase its walkability or non-motorized way to get from one end to the other, specifically when and if, I'll say when, the 5 in Main development goes in at M5 and Pontiac Trail.
Martin Parkway area.
Yeah.
A way to be able to get there, via bike and so forth. And the township owns a bunch of strip of land just east of here.
Basically,
where-
it's the end of Glengarry and goes over to Martin Parkway.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a couple of spots that they don't own, and it's kind of wet that they'd have to figure it out. But that's a key want, is to be able to take the path from South Commerce and Glengarry and go basically due east.
Well, we did talk about pathways last night a little bit too, and, we've had on our radar for some time to try to get something down Commerce,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
which is, and it's gonna take all 3 communities to be able to do something like that, Commerce, us, and Walled
Walled
Lake,
Lake.
along with the road commission, if it was gonna, because it's gonna cost a lot to do that, and there's just a lot of tight spots, so it would probably be a lot of back and forth across
Yeah.
South Commerce. So that's been a long-range project, but it's just I don't know if it'll ever go through feasibly to be able to do that, so, but,
Yeah, get
That was
the corner
going-
where the guardrail is a real pinch point there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the other information that we had, John McGee brought up was the fact that McCoy and Ladd, trying to get a pathway down that way. Ladd's a mess, and we're hoping that, when they do pave that, there might be a possibility of getting a path down there to be able to connect down to the bike trail.
Yeah, so it's from so there is no there's a partial sidewalk, right, by the silo? Or is that stop before the silo?
It stops right at the railroad tracks, I think.
At the rail?
From Maple, you're saying Maple North
Yeah,
on Ladd?
so it stops at and then,
I think it stops at the property for the school, the old school property, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
so there's nothing between the boardwalk and the bike path?
Right.
Okay.
Well, nothing between, essentially, if you're talking Benstein, there's nothing
Yeah.
there. There might be a couple sidewalks, I think in front of maybe the townhouses or whatever. But essentially, there's nothing down Benstein, but being Ladd, being probably more centrally located in the village, we've got internal paths down over in Lake Drive and Lakeview. So people can get around the village at that point by getting from Ladd down to the bike path. John brought that up, and McGee brought that up, and that, if they were good to pave, if Oakland County was gonna pave, we could take it to the village point, but we can't go south from Dunreath down to the railroad tracks or the bike path. So he sent it to us, sent it to council, to Commerce Township, and to the road commission. So, that was a good thought.
No, I can think, so that's Commerce, that's not Walled Lake right there.
I believe that's correct, yep.
I believe that's correct, yes.
On the Ladd side, yep.
I'll make sure that's in the master plan for the pathway.
Yeah, no, that would be good.
Okay.
Because that, again, we can get on the east side of the village, on the east side over going by the old Nifty Norman's or Kaya, and we can get through the village, but we can't, there's nowhere either Ladd or Benstein to get south.
Okay.
And there's a lot of traffic that, bike traffic that could go that way, and it's just dangerous to go down Benstein. People clip along pretty good there, but, so that was brought up too.
All right, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Support.
Okay, motion by Fredericks, second by Nedrow. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you, Sally.
Thank you very much.